Hi, welcome to another exciting episode of The Nest where we discuss everything babies. On today's episode, we are discussing being a stay-home mom. For many moms, especially first-time moms, we often find ourselves in the predicament of going back to work after maternity. And other times when we go back to work, the pressure is so high that balancing between work and family can be overwhelming. For other moms who have taken the bold step to actually be stay-home moms, it kind of sometimes gets really stressful with a bit of stigma from people around. Today we will be helping with all the facts we possibly can find regarding the choice of being a stay-at-home mom. So here with me we have a guest, Esther. Esther, please introduce yourself.
Hi, thank you for having me on the show. My name is Esther. I'm a wife and a mom of two beautiful daughters. The eldest is 4 years and the youngest is 1 year and 8 months.
Wow, congratulations. You don't look like a mom of two.
Oh, thank you.
Now tell me, Esther, did you always want to be a stay-at-home mom? Did you always know that one day you'd be one?
To be honest with you, no. I never thought that I would be a stay-at-home mom. Actually, when I was growing up, I used to see women who chose to stay at home with their children. I used to think it's women that have no ambition, women that have no careers. I never got to understand it until when I had my own children and I did my research, and I knew that the best way is to give your time to the kids.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know everyone at home, including myself, want to hear the story of Esther and how she came to make the decision to be a stay-at-home mom. We'll be right back after the break to hear her story. Don't go away. Welcome back to The Nest, where we discuss everything babies. On today's episode, we are discussing being a stay-home mom. We are joined by a beautiful mother of two, Esther, who chose to be a stay-home mom. So Esther, you're welcome. We'd really like to hear now your story. Where did it all begin?
Well, I must admit I didn't actually make a decision at first to be a stay-at-home mom. It's something that started by chance. Actually, when I had my first baby, I was still working. But what happened is, when the baby was 3 months, my husband got a transfer to work to a different part of the country. We were living in Mombasa at the time, and he got a transfer to Nairobi. So it was just when I was about to go back to work after maternity leave. So we sat down as a family. We discussed whether we were ready to have a long-distance marriage, also considering that we were very young in marriage, barely a year. So we had to sit down and see our priorities. Would we manage to do a long distance marriage with a small baby in tow? So yeah, finally we decided that me quitting my job was the best option. Then I followed my husband to Nairobi. Yeah, and then something else, my baby would not take formula milk. She completely refused to take formula milk. She would take it and vomit.
This is your firstborn?
Yeah, that was my firstborn. Yeah, so considering all these options, we said it would even be better if I stay another 3 months till when the baby is 6 months, then I can win her off, then look for another job, go back to work. So that's exactly what we did.
Tell me about how you adopted. You are not going to work. You know, you're in Nairobi. At least it's a new city, so you don't have to be judged by the people who you were working with before. How did it feel like?
Still, it was quite a transition, because actually my family is in Nairobi. We had both gone to Mombasa to work, so we were actually coming back home.
All right.
Yeah.
So you're saying initially both of you had jobs in Mombasa,
yes.
Your husband and yourself.
Yes.
So you come back here and you have to change, not because of the choice of, it was nothing to do with the baby.
No, it had not. Yes, it had everything to do with the baby. Because, okay, it was partly the baby.
Yes.
Because the baby, first of all, could not accept formula milk, and
yes.
she was also very allergic to proteins. So cow milk was also not an option for us. So we thought me staying at home, exclusively breastfeeding for at least 6 months.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, because the baby was only 3 months at that time.
Yes.
And were you expressing milk as a plan, you know, a plan B?
enough, I actually didn't have a plan.
Okay.
Yeah.
So your only plan was either breastfeed directly, and leave work, or as in there was just no plan if a formula wasn't working for you.
Yeah. I wanted to get into an arrangement with my boss at that time that they would give me an off during lunchtime. I go breastfeed the baby, then come back.
Okay.
Come back to work.
And now, having been at home, starting with the fact that you are pushed into it, looking at the factors that you've shared with us.
Yeah.
How did you feel morning to evening? You're with the baby. Were you able to probably see benefits to the baby that you think you added value to for being there present as a mom?
Yeah, let me add, I said it wasn't a decision that I made to be a stay-at-home mom. Yes. So what happened, when we came back to Nairobi, the idea was stay with the baby up to 6 months, then after that, look for a job. So that's what I did. When I came to Nairobi, I looked for a job, and after 2 months, I got the job. And that's when the transition of being a stay-at-home mom to a working mom hit me. It was so difficult. I mean, I would be called from work, the baby is having a temperature, and I would have to ask for permission to run back home.
Oh dear.
Yeah, then I got to learn from my neighbors that my house girl at that time would live with the baby from the house.
And go
And
where?
she would be seen outside the gate speaking to strangers. So what she would do, immediately we leave, my husband and I leave for work, then she would also live with the baby.
Wow.
So all these things was a bit stressful for me. Now, considering I was making the first transition. Then I don't know whether to call it fortunately or unfortunately. Somewhere after about 3 months, I lost my job.
Oh.
Yeah, so now I had to start from square one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but by then we had already seen the challenges of being at work with a small baby.
I know.
Yeah, so for us actually, we kind of rejoiced. Yeah.
I think I like your nanny because as much as you may have had agony, she was going with the baby.
Yeah.
Some are known to leave the baby behind.
I know.
And then come a few minutes before the mother comes. So
yeah.
That was unfortunate. Okay, so did you see any benefits, say you being at home with the child, probably milestones, probably you the baby started talking earlier? Are there things that you noticed happened because you are the mother to the child and you are able to be there with the child?
Yeah, okay, I wouldn't say she had any hiccups in her milestones, but just being there for the baby, you could tell the baby is different, responding in a different way. You know, there's a way babies behave when their mom is around. Yeah. So I could see the delight in her of me being around. Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's very comforting.
Yeah.
And I think it also creates a form of stability. Let me ask, the time that you are working and you were, I mean, the 3 months that you got the job, 3 months or 2 months?
3 months.
Yeah. How were you, do you see any difference in the baby's reaction? Like when you're leaving, was the baby even probably understanding when you're leaving and when you're coming back? Was there any, because I know at that time the baby is very young, they may not even know separation, so therefore they may not have separation anxiety. Yeah. Did you see anything in regards to their behavior, emotional behavior? I
would say health-wise, when I was at work, the baby would get sick a lot.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I had to be called from work every now and then. The baby is having a fever. So I'm not quite sure how the nanny used to handle the baby then. You know, a small baby is quite sensitive. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm not sure, but when I quit my job and was with the baby throughout, I saw some change. We stopped going to hospitals. There was no more fever, no infections.
Because you're the mother.
Yeah.
I mean, your interest is the baby throughout.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, going back to the benefits in general, now that you're at home. In fact, before I go to the benefits, I'd like to know whether you have any support, because you shared with us you had support before, that is the nanny who was there. Now that you're at home, you still have the nanny with you?
Yes. And actually I would like to advise other mothers out there. You know, you've had so many stories of stay-at-home moms being overwhelmed with housework, which never ends. It's a good idea that you have a nanny around. Yeah. So that if you need to run errands, then you can do it.
That's
so that
true.
yeah, because I believe that's the major challenge that most working mothers
Yes.
have to face. They're afraid of being at home doing housework all day. They feel as if they can't handle it, but the best way, get somebody to help you.
Okay. And for how long have you been a stay-at-home mom?
4 years.
It's been 4 years now.
Yes, because my eldest child is 5 years.
All right.
Yeah.
So does it mean that in this case your husband kind of supports like everything, or are there things that you're able to run as side businesses? Because that's one of the things that, in terms of opportunities for stay-home moms, what have you been able to do in the last 4 years? Would you say you are bringing in anything in terms of business ideas, or just supporting your husband?
Yeah, what happened after I lost my second job, we decided that I start a small business so that I'm able to be there with the child.
Yeah.
Such that I can be able to plan my time. You know, I'm not answerable to anyone when I want to run home and see my baby. So that's what I did. I started a small business. And I thank God for my husband. He has been very supportive. Yeah, he never stops to tell me that just because he's bringing the major income, he has never made me feel that I'm not bringing something to the table. Actually, I thank him for the support he's given me so far. Yeah,
that's. I think I salute him. I salute him for you. I know he's watching, so that's really nice. Okay, then going back to the stigma, because again, now you're out of a job. Very many times we do not even realize that we peg our value kind of to the title that we have at our place of work. And that thing of going to work at 8, at 5 to 5, and you look like you're in the crowd. How do you deal with people asking you, what do you do?
Yeah, I admit it's difficult. People do not understand. Like myself, I have a degree. At the moment, I'm pursuing a master's degree. Not many people understand why I would leave all this, my career, and decide to stay at home with my children. But I've done research. I've seen the benefits of a parent being there for their children. Yeah.
Can you share with us the benefits?
There is so much.
Please go ahead.
So
Please go ahead, because I know that there is a mom at home who is trying to make a decision between whether to just stay home, because sometimes it really gets stressful. It really gets stressful, and you really want to bring in some income to the home. And there's a mom out there who's watching, who's thinking, I'm on the fence. Do I really need to go for this 8 to 5 job? Do I need to stop growing my career and focus on the child? So it would be very important for that mom who's at that stage to know, what are the benefits? Are they worth it?
It's all about the value system. You see, the person that a child spends most time with, they tend to carry the values that those people have. Those are the same values that they carry with themselves. You see, a child is like an open checkbook. Whatever the child becomes, it's whatever that the child has been fed with. So if you leave your child with the nanny, the values that nanny believes in, they're the same values that this child
is going to take up. That's true.
So for me, I'm deliberate. I know the values that I want to instill in my children. I'm a Christian, so I pray with them. I teach them about God. I tell them this is how you should live with others, that you should not lie. You know, those basic values, they become entrenched in children at a tender age.
That's true. That's true. My last question will be, your 4-year-old is now going to school.
Yes.
So you're not considering homeschooling. Your child is going to a regular school. Okay. Okay. You look like you wanted to say something. Just say it.
Yeah, I would never consider homeschooling. Maybe it works for some people.
Yes.
But I would prefer my child to be out there mingling with the rest. So I will do my part, teach my child on how to live well with others.
Okay. And are you proud now, looking back? Do you look back and think that you made the best decision ever for not going back into regular employment and just be a stay-home mom?
Yes, that's the best decision I ever made. I mean, just seeing my child come home from school and the smile that mommy is there. You know, at times when I have errands and I'm not there, the nanny tells me the first thing that they ask for is, where is mom?
Oh,
there's that sense of security. There's that sense of security knowing that mommy is around. And they can share with me how their day was. That is just everything to me.
Okay, that is priceless. Thank you very much, Esther, for sharing your story. We'll have the expert joining us, so she'll help us know more benefits regarding being a stay-home mom. So to you viewers back home, please don't go away. We'll be joined shortly by the expert. We'll be right back after the break. Welcome back to the nest where we discuss everything babies. Remember, we are still waiting to receive your funny videos and photos and any birthday wishes you'd like us to send for your babies to show at the end of this show. Well, as promised, right now we are joined by our expert as we discuss being a stay-at-home mom. Welcome, Esther. Hi. Karibu sana.
Asante.
Please introduce yourself.
My name is Esther KIMANI. I am a doula, a childcare expert, and always excited to talk about moms and their babies, and daddies too. Daddies as well.
Daddies as well. Brings me to my first question. Have you ever heard of daddy staying home?
Yes.
So it does happen.
We're starting to see it. Was the West, it's very common. We're starting to see it here. Sometimes mom is the one with a great job, and they really want to have a parent stay home with the baby. And so daddies are taking a break to take care of the baby as mommy goes to work.
Okay, so maybe we'll just delve into the baby and how much the baby can benefit. From research, maybe, is there any proven kind of advantage in terms of baby development where the parent stays with the child?
Oh, definitely there is. There's been documentation after documentation about how the parent is the greatest nurturer to a child, because this is your child. So most children will grow by interaction. That's how their brain develops. They will develop because of that interaction. And if you watch any parent, whether it's a dad or a mom with their child, there's a lot of interaction that goes on at whatever point that they are discussing. And so that close interaction, like I had her say, her baby stopped falling sick. So you're more keen in terms of taking care of your child. So health-wise also, the baby is well catered for. So because you're keeping a very clean environment for the baby, the bond between the baby and the parent increases. Because for babies, it's never about quality, it's about quantity. So the more time you spend with your baby, the more your baby feels secure and they feel better and they bond with you more and more. So it's never, people say I'm spending quality time with my baby. There's nothing like that. It's always about quantity.
Oh, dear.
So there's a lot of benefits when the primary caregiver is the parent.
So would you say that the milestones achieved by a child taken care of by a parent may actually be faster than a child who's taken care of by a third party?
They would, because the mother is, let's say for example, talking. So babies will learn how to talk basically by their brain starts picking up language. And so this mom is talking to her baby generally all the time she's talking to her baby, but you might leave this baby with a caregiver that doesn't even interact with the baby, places the baby in front of a TV the entire time. That baby's milestone of talking is definitely going to be delayed. So there's a lot of that, and yes, you might see a great improvement in terms of babies achieving their milestones. Then it's the parent taking care of them.
And Esther, please feel free to ask anything or to chip in, because we know that with 4 years experience we cannot at all think that you cannot add to anything that our expert is sharing. Now, the predicament is that in Kenya today, even around the world, the pressure for income is high. And we still need that, what you're saying is the quantity time, because I was still going to peg on the quality time. What would you then advise a career woman who's trying to still leverage on the opportunities of the stay-home mom, the advantages that the stay-at-home mom has?
Unfortunately, especially when it comes to moms, it's not a fair world, I would say, because you're the nurturer. the child actually gets the most nurturing from their mother. And if the mother is not available, so you have this job where you come home at midnight every day and leave early in the morning, and that is 6 times a week. There's no way you will have any influence of nurturing your child. So it boils down to a choice. Unfortunately, this is one place where you can't have your cake and eat it too. So you might choose even to be still a career woman, but I have a friend who she still chose to continue with her career, but she decided not to accept a promotion, for example, because she knows the promotion will mean that she gets to have all these added responsibilities that will make her come home very late. So she decided, I'll have another 1 or 2 years for my babies to just become older, then I can now progress. And most women are able to progress. I'm glad to hear she's doing her master's. I have another mom, and when she was at home, she started doing a bit of lecturing in between. Now she's one of the heads of training in one of the largest institutions in this country after staying home for 12 years. So it does not mean that your dreams as a person have to end. They continue in line, but you're able to give that time to your children. For me personally, I took 2 years off with every child, but even when I went back, it's that the way she has her own business, so I have my own business, so I'm able to make sure that I have the time for my children. So that's some of these choices that one of the partners, so as even dads can do it, one of the partners might have to do, so that there's always an available parent, even though not the whole day, but at least there's a big chunk of the day that there's a parent present in the lives of the children.
And why should people prioritize being home with their children? Because to be honest, we find there are boarding schools for preschoolers. There are boarding schools for, you know, and even GCE schools that accept you know, the very small children. And these small children, especially in where big income or even small income is, you find that there are always third parties. There's the driver, there's the house help, there's the bus driver, there's everyone else. So the parent is actually not the primary. That's why I keep saying the primary caregiver. Even if you have a nanny, the nanny is just supposed to help you. You should be the main caregiver. We have moms where babies call the nanny mom, and they call the mom auntie, because they have no interaction with this person who's called mom or this person who's called dad. So parents have to choose, is it for us to drive 3-4 cars? We might drive 1 car, but be able to have more time with our children. We might live in a slightly less populated, you know, like slightly different estate, so that we can have this, because most times our chasing the dream, then later it catches up on us that we left our children behind, and that's when you're finding out at that point your child is in drugs, because there was no nurturing that happened in the formative years. There was, your child is in drugs, your child is doing this, your child is lost, so many things have gone on because you were not present in your children's life. And I like, one of my friends keeps telling me one thing. She says we need to be present, because we might have these jobs and then I get home and then again I'm on my phone, so I'm not even present in the life of my children. I'm on my laptop answering emails. Yes, I've come home early, but I'm on my laptop answering questions. And with the phone.
On the phone, I'm interacting with clients, so I'm not really present.
Watching the news.
I'm not present with my children. So there's nothing that we are imparting to our children. There's nothing you're passing on to your children. You're not passing values. You're not giving them time. You're not giving them, they're not being heard by you, and that will actually impact them as they grow up.
Okay, I think I'm sorry, I'm still stuck here, because I know that people out there really debate about being present or not being present, and therefore I'll still go back to the point of, we look back and our parents left us. You know, I'm not just saying, people will stand on the fact that we survived. Our parents were not there. They were out there. What would you really say are the risks? So maybe, is it with modernization now that there's higher exposure and higher risk?
It's higher risks, higher exposure. We led, again, also the family structure. I remember, yes, my mom was at work and my dad was at work, but my grandmother was very present in our lives. My aunties, my close relatives that basically would actually nurture us. Systems have changed. Now your mother is not there. It's not even a relative. It's not anyone. So the structures before were very family centered, so that a child was not just brought up by the nuclear family. They were brought up by the extended family. But now it's just the nuclear family and a nanny. So if the nuclear family is not present, the nanny replaces, and then now this nanny is not part of you. They don't have your values. So what has actually impacted that child? I remember, I mean, it is my uncle who taught me how to ride a bike. It is my auntie who showed me how to cook chapati, and then my mom takes over. It's all a family structure. It was a village. So times have changed, and we must be very, very cognizant to the fact and act accordingly. So like make drastic steps like those. Refuse a promotion because it will mean that you will have less time with your children. You know, earn less money. Take a job that doesn't involve, you know, it's just a short time. Children grow. They grow. Soon they'll be in high school, and she'll have all the time to do. In fact, they're the ones telling you, "Mommy, go," you know, they're older. But you've already established such a good foundation that those children are likely to prosper in the future.
I think I want to go to stigma, and I want Esther, our guest, and I have two Esthers.
No, you have two Esthers.
Esther, the guest, to share with us how real is the stigma, because I want the expert to help us with that, because everyone asks that question. What are you doing? How bad is the stigma?
The stigma is bad. Like, my own mom does not understand. Yeah, she loves me very much. I love her. But at some point she calls me and asks me, "Hey, Esther, how is that job hunting going? I mean, do you want to keep asking for money from your husband? I mean, don't you want to make some little of your own?" She doesn't understand herself.
So, okay. So how do you deal with the stigma? Because I think you mentioned your mom, who's, you know, the closest person. You would, you know, you just want her support at this point. Not talking about everyone else who's around you. How do you deal with that?
I think you just have to. I think the most important people in this equation is you and your partner. You've decided that this is how we want to go. And once that happens, and you have that confidence that things are okay, then you're able to weather. The stigma will be there because it is expected to be that you should be out there making money. You should be at the same level with your husband, and even I think it's worse even for men who choose to stay home with their children. They'll even say it's because I don't have a job. I don't have a dad who says, "Oh, I'm looking for a job," but it's actually they decided that that's the official story because
to manage everyone
doesn't understand. But they just chose differently to just have him home with the baby. But the official story is that he lost his job, which he didn't. But you see, now it's gotten to that because the stigma would be too great for people to understand. So it is there, but bottom line, you can't change what other people think. But as long as you and yourself are okay and you're doing okay, then you know, all right, we are doing fine. We have the plan, and we have a plan. And as I said, it's not the end of your life. Have ways of interacting with human contact, you know, adult conversations. Because you might be saying,
"Get lost."
That's the song that will ring in your head if you're with your baby the whole day. You know. So have adult conversations. Look for other moms that are also stay-at-home moms that you can have different play dates, stuff like that. Have times that you actually leave home and go. I have a mom who says Saturday is her day off, and so her husband stays home with the children. And Saturday she leaves home at 7 and comes back whatever time, and that's okay. So she feels refreshed. She'll go to her salon. She'll do the things that she wanted to do, and then by the time she comes back, she's refreshed. Because trust me, it is harder, much. There's so much work to take care of your child than actually going to the office. She would say. It is. People ask you, "What have you done the whole day?" And it is amazing just how much work it is to have your children as your boss, because basically that's who they are. They're her boss. It is much harder. It is. I think it's 10 times more work than that person who's going to the office. So we should actually applaud them, encourage, build them, and because at the end of the day, they're actually creating a generation for us that we will envy in the future. They'll be the leaders of tomorrow, grounded children. So it is, I think we should encourage it more, and we should actually maybe in the future when Kenya reaches to a point, we'll actually remunerate them. I mean, in Europe, there are countries that actually pay salaries when a mother chooses to stay home. So the government actually subsidizes and gives them some money.
I think we should move more
So we'll get there. I trust that one day that it shall be valued, because they've seen the value of a parent being with a child. And they actually, in fact, there's one country that pays for 8 months maternity leave for the mother, and then pays for 8 more months for the father if he chooses to stay home. So you can imagine just how much a child gains from having these parents at home. Yeah, so it's great. I think we should applaud Esther here.
Kudos. I think what then I would ask is about how to make sure that you keep growing, because it's kind of equated that if you're staying at home, you know, though you're saying have adult conversations, you know, when you're in the corporate and you're working, there's that pressure, you're constantly growing, your mind is not at rest. What opportunities can a mother leverage on who has chosen to stay at home, in, you know, having the extra time and making sure that she continues to grow?
Like her, go back to school, you know, you can take 2-3 units. It will take you longer, but at least you're keeping your brain going. Start a small business that doesn't involve you having too much time away from home. Take projects on, you know, volunteer in your children's school. There's, I mean, teachers are always looking for people to volunteer to run, you know, like a concert, or run the things that in your school, in your school, mentor children. So you can do things within your children's, even the things that your children are doing, that build and actually build your community, but also they keep you active and going. So then different things, get your space and just plug in.
Okay, I think I'm very encouraged about ensuring that you are growing.
Yes.
It's really key then. Then what would you advise a mom who's on the crossroad, because probably the pressure is too high at work, probably being sent out of the country for, you know, assignments and all, and the books at home, you need that income coming in. What would you tell such a mom who is trying to consider between money or stay at home?
Mom. I would still say, if especially you of course, if it's a single mom, it's a bit different, because she's the main source of income. But if you have a partner, sit down, count the cost, because of course is cost cutting. It might mean eating less meat per week, you know, and having a bit more beans. So actually calm down, draw your budgets. See what are the big things that you actually use your money for. I remember when I first stayed home, that's what we did, and we actually realized that the second salary was actually for luxuries. It wasn't really for, like, with one salary we had a home, we could eat, we could have clothes on our bodies, and we'd generally be okay. But the second salary was for luxuries. So we realized we can actually do this. So sometimes you have to sit down and actually, see, if we take our children to school B, we'll actually be okay with one salary. But if we stay in school A, then both of us need to get these jobs. If we live here, we'll be okay. If we moved, downgraded a bit, we'll be fine. And as I said, it's not what people out there think. They're thinking, oh, now they've... I remember my father asking me, you're selling your car. Like, you know, I think our parents, because we took you to school, so they're like, value, you know, and my dad was very disturbed. And we told him, because we don't need 2 cars at the moment, we are okay. I'm not going to work anymore, so I'm staying home, so we are fine, you know. And that meant that the luxuries had to go, so that we could cater for our small family, and I could be home with the baby. So it's some of these things that you look at, count the cost, do a budget analysis, and see. Sometimes you might not need to quit your job. You might just need to change your job to maybe a less involving one. It might need less money, but it means that there's still some income coming in, but you're balancing out your parenting duties as well. So it's Yeah.
Talking of that, I've heard of people who, when they get their new job after maternity, they actually negotiate for the working hours.
Exactly. Yes.
Say, I'm coming in at 6.
Yes.
I'm out at 3.
Exactly.
So your husband takes the kids and leaves late for his work, and then you come home early.
Yeah.
And it still kind of creates
a bond. And now with a new job, you can actually negotiate, you know, than somewhere you've been before. So there's different ways to do it and approach it, depending on where you are at as a family, and then you can make a decision together.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think at this point I want to ask Esther to encourage a mom who is at home, a stay-home mom, and I want you to encourage them and kind of let them know that there is value in being a stay-home mom, and probably what kind of courage they need, because sometimes, you know, you're introducing yourselves in a forum, and someone says that,
and you proudly say, I'm a stay-at-home mom.
So to encourage a mom out there to actually know that, you know, being a stay-home mom is a job, and for guys out there as well to know that it's not that people want to sleep more. You know. Please talk to a mom out there and encourage her.
I would tell any mom that is considering to leave work to stay at home with their kids, it's the best decision you could ever make. You're co-working with God. Being a parent is not just bringing a child into the world. There is more work that comes with it. You're supposed to nurture this child. You're supposed to take care of this child, instill the values that you want to instill in this child. So go for it. It's the best thing that you could do. Your children will turn out right, and everybody will thank you for it at the end of the day.
Wow.
Amazing.
What did you want to add?
No, I can't say it any better. It's the truth.
Oh, that is so encouraging. I think my last curious question, because I know other people may be wondering, and I'll ask on their behalf. You did 2 years for each of your children.
Yes.
It was a conscious decision.
It was a conscious decision that I'll be home for those 2 years until my child turns 2. Then I now get back to my routine.
Why 2 years?
Because the first 2 years are basically very important in terms of foundation, whether it's feeding, like being able to exclusively breastfeed them, and then start solids, and then navigate through potty training, navigate through talking, navigate through. So there's the first 2 years are the times that your baby grows the most in their life. I mean, the growth is so accelerated, they'll never grow as fast again.
Okay.
So that's why. So for me, it felt that. But even after I resumed work, it was more of slowly. So I still had a lot more time at home with my babies. And I still do.
Good job.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah.
Good job, Esther.
Thank you.
Keep at it. We will keep comparing notes and encouraging each other to just be present for our children. I think it's the most important thing.
Sure.
So to the moms back home, we are still expecting to hear your comments, questions, and even anything probably that you disagree with us. We want to see your comments and your thoughts, and we want to know you're there. So send us your feedback on the number appearing on your screen and on our Facebook page. That's Covenant Television Network. So you go to Facebook, type in Covenant Television Network and search, and drop your comment in there, starting with #TheNest, and we'll be able to revert to you on anything that you'll be sharing with us. We're taking a short break, and we'll be right back to answer all the questions you may ask our doula. So don't go away. Welcome back to The Nest, where we discuss everything babies. Today we're discussing being a stay-at-home mom. Unfortunately, we are at the last segment of the episode, but not to worry if you're joining us now, because we are answering questions on Ask the Doula Anything. So I'll just go quickly to the questions that you've sent us, and I will share this question from Lydia of Buru Buru. She says, when should we start disciplining babies? My boy sometimes throws tantrums, and I'm always tempted to smack him. He still bites my nipple when breastfeeding. I've tried pinching him as soon as he does, but it doesn't seem to help. What should I do? This is Lydia from Buru Buru. I said,
so discipline is such a wide story. Maybe one day we'll do a show.
You know, we have to. And
it actually starts from day one. Whatever you teach your child, that's what becomes a normal for your child. So but now as the baby grows at that age where they start throwing tantrums, or they start and usually it's because the child is feeling frustrated about something. But like when now the baby bites, the reason if she pinches and the baby continues is because the baby has not associated. Baby, it's always about association. The baby has not associated the pinching with a behavior. So it cannot cause behavior change. So you need the baby to understand that it's because you're doing this that I want you not to do it. So first of all, we say we do not punish our children with our hands. Our hands are meant to love, nurture, and protect the child. So we have instruments of discipline. So a cane, even the Bible calls it a cane. The Bible is very specific. It says we use a cane.
Surely the baby is 9 months, 11 months.
The baby even at 5 months or 6 months. I had a cane from 6 months. So you have an instrument that the child actually starts to associate. So like in her case, because there's not that cause and effect. So the baby, when the baby pinches, bites on your breast, first of all, you should have eye contact. You cannot discipline a child if there's no eye contact. And babies know, they'll actually try and not meet your eye. So have eye contact and you tell the child no with a very firm, voice, and then remove them from the breast. Don't continue to breastfeed them. Remove them. And then let's stay a bit, see, because he wants to feed, you're saying no, put them aside. Then put them back after maybe 5-10 minutes. If they bite you again, now you use your instrument of discipline and maybe just a nice tap, pop, and then you say, I said no, and then remove them from the breast and now make the wait longer. Like, don't put them back immediately, like spread there. Even if they're crying, hold them, do something. So when they came back to the breast, you'll even see them trying to bite.
Be careful.
Yes, and they're looking at you and you be firm, say no, they will not bite you again. So you must teach the child that I'm punishing this behavior that you're doing to make it out of so that association is not there. So it's associate the behavior with the punishment or the discipline, and then once the child understands the two, then there's behavior change.
Where do you, how do you administer the cane?
So usually the fattest part, so it can be the leg, it can be also the inside of the arm, wherever looks close enough, but somewhere. And of course you're not really doing it really hard. It's just a nice tap. If you can go eat Chinese and get a chopstick, it's fantastic. It won't cause much harm, but it's really painful. Like,
gosh, that is sad.
I know, I'm giving parents
the spatula,
the spatula, something, something very small. It wouldn't really cause injury to the child because it's also just a tap. And so you're making the child understand that this is not acceptable behavior. She talks about sometimes he throws tantrums and I'm tempted to smack him. So tantrums,
her child is 11 months.
11 months. So tantrums are a child's way of showing their frustration, and sometimes it's because they are not feeling listened to and they are not feeling heard. So if you really notice, most children will throw a tantrum if they are tired. They are very tired, maybe they have not napped. So the more overstimulated and tired your child is, the more your child is more likely to cause tantrums. So first of all, make sure that your baby is getting their naps, they are resting, they're not having too much TV, all this overstimulating stuff. The second thing is what caused the tantrum in the first place. Maybe you're on your phone and your baby is trying to get your attention. So it's because they're not feeling listened to, they're not feeling heard. So they have to do something to make you get them. Thirdly, don't feed the tantrum.
Okay, what is not feeding the tantrum?
So he starts to tantrum and you're like, stop it. So he's gotten the attention he needed. You've left your phone, you've gone. So he throws a tantrum. An 11-month-old can understand you. You tell him, I will talk to you when you calm down. And then just go sit quietly there, leave him. So after a while he'll actually look like, you're not coming to stop me from throwing things or throwing myself on the ground. And then it's like, oh my God. So that's what feeding the tantrum is. The more you try to stop it, and the more you feed it, and it becomes like a tornado, and then soon it's uncontrollable. So don't feed it. Just go, sit quietly. Don't shout to your child. Don't tell them. Just ignore him. In like 2 minutes, he'll realize it's not really healthy.
Cause and effect.
Yeah, cause and effect. So if you want, what we say, reinforce positive behavior, and don't reinforce negative behavior.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, nice one.
Yeah.
You have something to say?
I was wondering, what if the baby throws the tantrums in a mall?
Yeah.
What do you do then?
Walk
do you
away.
still leave the baby?
Yeah, just walk away. You see, you can walk away. I did that with my daughter, and she was in the supermarket and she wanted a sweet, and I said no, and she started rolling herself in the ground, and I told her, okay, that's fine, and I started walking away. In 2 seconds, she looked at us and stood and ran after us, because she's like, oh my goodness,
It didn't work.
it didn't work. Yeah. So if we had there and tried to pick her up and try to stop it, she'll just make more noise, because she realizes I'm embarrassing my parents. So there's nothing like being embarrassed as a parent. Just walk. Don't feed the tantrum. Yeah. So just walk safe distance, and you just stand and look like you're looking away. You see, you're actually looking at them. So in 2 minutes, they'll actually stand. Children are very intelligent. They'll stand and realize this is not working. Yeah. So and they'll come.
Okay. I think we are happy with the answers, right?
Yeah.
Gosh, it's time to say goodbye.
Bye.
Oh, I know it's never enough.
Yeah.
Gosh, so thank you so much, viewers, for staying with us. I'd also like to thank our amazing guest and Esther, as usual. See you next. I don't believe time is over, but please don't miss next week on Thursday. We are waiting to see your feedback. See you there, same time. I am your host, GLADWELL KAMENI.